I do think you undercharge though, because I know what you charge from your website. I do think you undercharge.
Well, yeah, I've heard that, but I want people to actually afford it and actually get involved in fitness rather than being exclusive and stuff. But
Well,
yeah,
then why not just say if you're on Universal Credit or whatever, contact me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe, but it kind of feels like I don't want people to have to feel like they're groveling or anything. And also, I do offer sometimes if people really want more support and extra stuff and more, I can get a high level package for it, but that's a lot more. That's
The
absolutely
VIP
me
package.
messaging. Well, precisely, and I don't really talk about it very much because not many people actually need it for my clients. But if people do want that and they've got the means to afford it, then yeah. But that's a whole extra level of effort for me, so I try not to do it anyway because that's a lot of my time.
If
So
you
it
want
costs, so it
shirtless
costs more.
check-ins, that's an extra 40. Dude, that's
Yeah,
what you
per
should
check-in.
do.
Per check-in, yeah.
Or people who get uppity. Okay, so one guy, I was drunk. Not that that's an excuse, but I don't think what I asked was that offensive.
Okay, go on, shoot.
Okay, I'll post his Instagram because you may have come across him.
Okay.
But just from his videos and shit, it's very clearly aimed towards he's straight and he doesn't try and pretend to be anything else. But his coaching services, Jordan Wilson, that's what he's called. He's some Northern Irish person. Okay, if you watch any of his videos, they're very what's that word? Kind of like Nigella Lawson, where she says something. She knows exactly what she's saying, but she's not saying it.
Suggested, but not really suggested. I can see even
Yeah.
the poses. I can see some of the poses straight away. Good grief. Yeah,
Okay.
it just feels indecent to watch. He looks
So,
almost uncomfortable.
so it's very clearly aimed at gay
That's
men.
then.
I would argue that he aims his services at gay men.
Mhm.
So then on a Q&A thing, I just asked him, I said, are the majority of your clients gay? Because if I'm looking for a coach who aims for that, I want to know that.
Mhm.
And then he DM'd me back and was like, why is this even relevant? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dude, don't fucking tell me that you're not aiming all of your
Well,
fucking
you know
content
what game you're
at
playing?
gay guys. And then as soon as a gay
The
person
uppity, yeah.
asks
Yeah.
you, and then you got all fucking
Yeah.
uppity about it. And I didn't even ask it or say it in a rude way. It was out
It's
of
just
a
a direct
genuine
question, yeah.
curiosity because
Yeah.
I could have been like, okay, he's comfortable with gay clients. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with him.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. It could be a consideration, yeah, absolutely. It's a reasonable question.
But you got
Because a lot
all
of people in the
fucking
fitness industry are not
uppity.
very tolerant.
And I'm like, dude, your entire fucking content is very clearly aimed towards
Yeah.
a gay client base.
You should get this question several times a week, yeah. Yeah, that is crazy that it's got that attitude to it. I mean, just from the profile picture alone, man. From also the get sexy coaching. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Are we set to start? Or do you guys want to keep talking about?
Yeah, no, we're good. Perfect. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, I mean, I've been ready for good 15 minutes. I just didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
You weren't here 15 minutes ago.
Dude, I've been waiting. I've been waiting since 8:30. Anyway, this is probably going to be a really good debate. Sorry, mate. You're going to have to go counter. And I liked what you guys were talking for. I'm going to be pro personal trainers. So good luck.
Which side am I? Which side am I?
You have to be pro AI. Sorry.
I have to be pro that the AI is going to get rid of my job.
The thing that's going to leave you
you
jobless. Yes.
Got you.
That's
got you.
You're the one that said
got
you're
you.
the debate guru. You know, PhD researcher. You gotta.
We got this. We got this.
Test it. No, I'm just kidding. Go for whatever you believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a debate. You have to believe this.
And then let's get started. So, cool. Anyone who wants to join the panel, you're more than welcome to. Welcome everyone. Thanks, Miss Yap Queen, Dumblon, Basaki, Musakist, Tommy Chibi Hoops, or anybody else who's in the audience. Feel free to join. Welcome everyone to this week's debate. I have here with me Chris. Chris is a certified personal trainer with over a decade, years worth of experience. Today we are going to be debating the trending discussion that AI will replace online coaches. If you do want to be part of the debate, feel free to raise your hand. Everyone is welcome to be part of the debate, as long as you're respectful and you give your stance in a respectful manner. So I will start off to kick things started. Personally, and this, sorry, Chris, I do agree and I do believe for a lot of online coaches, AI is coming for your job. The reason why I'm saying this, in this month alone, I've been reached out to probably up to 5 different apps that are building some sort of AI co-pilot. And there's this one that's in beta that's really good. You can literally see what you will look like just from a picture. And a lot of them are doing the freemium model, which they probably make a lot of their monetization from ads. So for anyone who doesn't know how the freemium model works, the freemium model works in a way that YouTubers or Twitch streamers can make money and leaving their content free, because advertisers will be posting, and also with Google Ads, they can make money that way. The biggest grift in the most recent social media era has been a lot of coaches and fitness models who have had surgery and all these other stuff, selling people high ticket plans and all these other stuff to achieve unrealistic goals they could never reach. With AI, they can get fast information, it can be instant, and now with the utilization of all these freaking image AI, whatever, you can see what you will look like in a realistic way. So, and this is also the early stages. So it might not be something that happens immediately, but eventually it will leave a lot of online coaches jobless. But a counter to my point is I do think the good, high quality coaches, especially those who are in person, will survive the AI. Same thing with tech, same thing with everything. The good guys will always survive. Over to you, Chris. Let's know your stance. You can defend being a personal trainer and being an online coach.
Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, excellent stuff, Mayo. Makes a nice change. So I'm going to agree and disagree with parts of those things. I will say I completely agree that, well, as a person trainer online, so I coach people online. I see people who coach online coaches. People try to make a bit of a model out of that, and they tell you, "Oh, it's so easy to be an online coach now because of AI. AI makes it easier to be an online coach." People say before you had to be able to, do finance, you got to understand money, to understand how to set templates up for workouts. Now you're on ChatGPT, type for 3 seconds, and you've got a whole ream of programs out. You can just easy make money, which is a complete cookie cutter mill. It's just absolutely nonsense. And I think A is absolutely right. I think the bad coaches will actually get run out of business by AI because all they're doing is using AI to do this doing job for being lazy. I think AI is dangerous for that, but also I think good opportunities. I think if people want to have AI to help them do different certain goals, it's a good way to get started. But I do think the actual personalization, the actual experience, the more advanced you get, I think the more AI becomes less useful. I think for most things, AI can be great for an overview. You can get a really good start, like how do I do basic exercises? What do I first get into a gym? But I do think as you get more advanced, as you're past the very generic cookie cutter stage, when you actually need some more experience, you need to actually have a nuance to your workouts. You need to have an actual plan and make you stick to the right things. That's where it's going to let you down. And that is where the good coaches are really going to come out, even online, because well, I think nothing against in-person coaches. It's great. I think it cannot replace having someone in the gym literally making you work hard. Had a chat, we'll call it a chat, a debate, a discussion. Someone wanted to argue me in fitness chat the other day, maybe yesterday, saying they wanted to argue about volume. And I said, well, volume, you need to do this number of sets as long as you work completely hard as you can. And I said, well, I think most people work for a high volume because they can't work that hard. And he told me, well, if people don't work hard, they don't deserve results. They shouldn't be doing anything. They're lazy. So yeah, if you're a person, you can push them really hard. But if you're working online remotely, it's so much easier to get to more experience. You're not limited by the people in your area. If I want to find an online coach, my local gym do not have any good PTs. I've seen them. I've talked to them. I don't trust any of my workouts. If I was going to get coaching now, I would go to another online PT who I trust, someone who's actually knowledgeable, someone who's an expert, not just happen to be limited by my geographical location. So I don't think AI is going to completely take coaches' jobs. I think it's going to it's going to create more coaches, then it's going to get rid of a lot of coaches, and then it's going to be used for limited purposes with expert coaches still having a nuance and probably making more money from it because they're actually people willing to pay. People won't pay the bad coaches, they'll pay the good coaches. Sorry, I rambled a bit there.
No, that's a really good point. Does anybody have any other stances? And do you want to go ahead? And remember, we are talking about online coaches. So I do think in-person coaches would always be needed. But yeah, go ahead. Anybody?
Can I say something or
Yeah.
yeah so at first when I saw the debate topic, I thought it was talking about whether AI was going to replace in-person coaches, and I was like, obviously that can happen. That's quite stupid. And then when you said online, I started second guessing myself, and then I heard you and Chris's points, and then I'm trying to understand that. I'm starting to understand that it's a lot more difficult than that. I don't think AI will replace online coaches. I think what it would do is it would turn online coaches to a luxury. To you know how nowadays there's this whole thing. You know how like a few years ago Tom Platz had this like exclusive lifting gym that was like different from everybody else's gym, where like you would come over, and then because it's Tom Platz and because he's the king of legs and whatever, you go like the same way we have Diamond Gym now. Like Diamond Gym is not just a regular gym now. I think that's kind of what would happen with AI and online coaches in a sense where the average online coach would probably the average online coach is probably gone by the time AI gets to that point, and then you'd have to be some level of like you'd have to be elite or you have to be elite in order to actually like stay you'd have to be elite. You have to be like this myth. You have to be really good and have like a lot of backing and a lot of PR like the reason why I say that is because the thing with online coaches is it's compared to real coaches, there's a lot of there's a lot less they can do. So yeah, there's a lot less they can do. Like nothing's ever going to trump having a good coach that you go to the gym to train with. As unfortunate as it is it's just that's just the way it is. Going to the gym, having someone you see every week, someone that you enjoy training with, or someone that helps you out, is going to help you a lot better. Especially if you are, let's say, someone that's new to fitness or someone that's on the latter part of your years, where you're reaching your maximum capacity for growth, you're reaching your natural ceiling. It's a lot harder for you to actually feel the way you felt years ago. And then for someone, let's say someone that's obese and wants to start going to the gym, if they are not really that dedicated to it, and then you have an online coach, essentially is if they don't want to do it, or if they don't want to do it properly, they're not going to do it properly. And then at that point, what's the difference between then having the coach and you literally just getting something from AI if you're not gonna do it properly? You want to say something? Yeah,
I want to respond. I think you made excellent points.
I do have a counter after you, Chris. But
yeah, for sure. No, great, Tommy. Thank you for that. When you're saying people aren't motivated and not going to do it regardless, I think that is when an online coach is actually very valuable. Like I've had clients who come to me, they're desperate to lose weight. They really want to get started on turning life around. And they go, okay, and I've tried many times, and they even pay for the service, pay for me. And they go, no, I can't get motivated, I can't start it. And that's where I think a coach is most useful, a human coach especially, because I'm the person messaging them. I'm getting in touch. I'm saying, right, I'm going to message you 3 times a day. One of my clients, we started, he's having a hard time. I'm messaging him literally 3 times a day saying, right, what are you doing? What are you eating this meal? Here's the plan. What are you doing? Have you hit the gym this week? How is it going for that? Keep me updated. And that is when it's human accountability. You can't replace AI. If you get a notification, yeah, it's something, but you can easily go in a notification, whereas I'm not going to let you go. I'm the person who's going to keep harassing you until you do it right. I said on the phone, I said to him, I will harass you until you get it done, because that's what you told me you want to do. And this is working together. This is the relationship we have for it. Dedication from a human is not the same. It's so much more powerful. And also the guilt side of it, which sounds bad, but sometimes people need to be guilt tripped. Some people need to how their mind works. Some people are very accountable. Some people want to feel or don't care about it. Some people need to have a little bit of guilt saying, you don't want to have that part where you message them saying, I didn't do it today. They want to be able to tick it off. They want to get on, they want approval. They need to have this motivation for it. And that's what AI is not going to give you. AI is not going to be able to actually give you what you need. Whereas I can have a conversation with someone, I can find their goals, we can talk about their actual motivations, we can clarify their goals, actually what they really want. Because people come to me and say, I want to lose weight, and say, that's great. But why do you want to lose weight? Oh, because I feel better. Oh, and what's that? Oh, I feel confident. Oh, I want to find a relationship. Oh, I want to feel more confident at work, at school. I want to do better. And you get to the actual deep motivation, and you can get really tapped into this person. I don't think AI can actually have that same human connection. But thank you, Tommy. It's a good point. Sorry, you can jump.
Cool. You guys did raise a lot of points, and I really do appreciate it. And I actually think this is a really good debate. It would be nice to have had a lot of coaches here as well. But one thing that you guys are forgetting is cost effectiveness and also ROI, so return on investment, and the fact that human beings are completely lazy. Majority of coaches, before I go into the main points, majority of coaches right now, a lot of them do have replicatable workout routines. There's some coaches where they have this freaking password or payment gateway to see their PDF, and it is just literally bullet points. It's nothing that is complex, it's nothing that's amazing, and all they do is they sit on a Zoom call with you, they look at what you're doing, they look at your form, they give a cookie cutter response, and because they have a really good physique or because they're models, you are tend to pay more for that, and they're not actually changing. Like, what you're doing is something that you could have sat down yourself, recorded your own video, reviewed it yourself, and searched on Google to find the correct workout you needed. And most coaches know the rest is a good diet, consistency, and time. Now, where AI comes to cut all of that middleman away is that AI will be able to review your form, give you an image analysis of what you potentially look like, and different prompts you can probably get. Oh, make it look more realistic. This way you can have a more realistic look of what you want to do. And also you can fact check yourself using AI, like as a search engine, and give yourself a more in-depth breakdown of the questions you actually want to ask. So the reason why I do think it's going to impact a lot of online coaches is because of what a lot of online coaches do at the moment. A lot of people have joined this Discord server, and one of the biggest selling points is that all of the workout routines and resources that are available for free, they always bring it and they compare it with what their paid coach. I think Candy was one of them when he first joined the server. I forgot who it was, maybe Musaki as well. When you guys first joined the server, you were getting all these free resources that your online coaches or your coaches that you were using add like a price or a wall against it for you to pay more than actually needed to understand that the simple thing is that you need a good workout routine that meets your schedule with a nice nutrition plan that you're strictly following for a long period of time before you can start seeing progress. A lot of that is gone because with AI, people, it's basically no gatekeeping anymore. It's out there. People are lazy. That's the reason why TikTok is the most used social media platform that there is. Wink, 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 shout out to last week's debate, is because people want to use ease rather than anything that's complicated. They don't want to wake up in the morning, get dressed, and open up a Zoom call, log in, go through all the nuances of entering their password and all that boring stuff. They want to be lying in their bed after a workout or before a workout, type into freaking whatever the AI prompt is, copy the video that they sent, review the form. It gives a breakdown of the form check, and then they want to go back to bed. All of that is due to human laziness. And I know it's really sad to say, watch Wally if you haven't. That is where society is leading to. So we might want to argue right now that AI is not going to leave online coaches jobless, sure, until it does. But yeah, back to whoever wants to follow up after that. Get cooked, little bro.
I'm gonna like the copy of the both of you. I think that there is levels to it. Like for example, you know the way Chris said, like, you know, you can't replace accountability, and you can swipe, swipe off a notification from AI. If you really wanted to, I like, if I really wanted to, like, didn't want to train, I wouldn't train, and it's just really as straightforward as that. But I mean, it would help in some cases, and then yeah. So if like, let's say Chris was pestering me, and then I eventually, okay, all right, try it out, and then I end up liking it, then I'll come back the next time. So it would help in some cases. By the end of the day, it would kind of be dependent on the person, which brings me back to my second point to then dispute what Ayo said. AI can't replace what's it called, individuality. It can't. Like, for example, I've been in fitness for like what, a year, a few months now, and I'm very picky. Like, if I don't like something, I just wouldn't do it. Like, for example, I'm on a push pull legs full body program. That is rubbish because you don't do push pull legs full body. It just doesn't make sense. If I gave that to AI, or if I gave that to AI, at some point they're gonna end up, refuting it. Or let's say I don't want to do dips anymore. They're gonna give me the option of doing like a JM press, or they're gonna give me the option of doing like chair dips or something like that. Whereas with an online coach, if they know that for whatever reason, if I don't want to do this exercise, or for whatever reason I'm not enjoying the fitness, they're gonna say, all right, scrap this. Let's look for let's get rid of the the whole range of like sub tricep exercises. We can do a particular, let's do this amount of sets of cable push downs instead. So at that, so essentially you're still gonna hit your tricep works. It's not optimal, it's not advisable, but if you don't do it that way, you're not gonna come back to the gym anymore. And AI can't replicate that. And I think that is what, whenever I come to the podcast, those are the things I'm asking, and they're specific to me, because the online coaches are here, and then they're going to be able to say, all right, fine, I made a makeshift full body program, and it has walking lunges inside. There's nothing walking lunges are offering on a full body that I shouldn't be doing with the squat, but I prefer to do walking lunges because I want them for my cardio, or I like the burn or whatever. AI coaches can't give me that, but I can get on the podcast, because the people on podcast understand that there's an individuality to it, and if I don't do it, I'm not going to enjoy the lifting, and if I don't enjoy the lifting, I'm not going to come to the gym. And I think obviously that's the point, but that's what's going to separate the average coach who's going to lose their job from the coaches that are going to have their job.
Okay, I've got a quick counter to that. So yeah, I pretty much get the points, which is really good. You're talking about individuality and also access to, specifics. Quick question: if this podcast, if it was pay to join, and I said before you guys can join this podcast to ask a question, you have to pay $150. No, and you had an alternative. No, I'm just finishing my point. You had to pay $150. And you had an alternative to use Google Gemini, ChatGPT, go to Google App Store, Google all sorts of AI online coaches with all the resources. Realistically speaking, which one would you pick? $150 to ask on this Discord podcast, or use whatever resources you have for free?
Some people pay money though for the accountability.
Yeah, I understand that, but that would also fall down into the minority. Yeah, 150 is a lot of high ticket.
I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay. I'll go to the options that are available. But if I don't like it, I just won't go to the gym. Honestly speaking, it would just be like obviously now for me it's different, because I've been in fitness and I'm kind of okay with where I'm at now. But like if I was someone that was struggling to get into it, and I had to pay $150 to join the podcast, let's say, and then I pay, and then I'm not allowed to ask individual questions, I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. It just be as straightforward as that, really.
I've also got another question.
I just wouldn't try as hard.
I've got a follow-up question to my point.
£50 or is it £150? What's the actual?
Well, I said 150 because you guys were talking about high ticket coaches before.
150. What if it's like £1.50 each time, like a subscription? 150 subscription each time.
Well, then there's nothing to debate, right? That's just like edge case nuances. How many online coaches Chris, do you do 150? Please don't tell me you do £1.50. No, yeah. How many online coaches do £1.50 for a session? But yeah. Anyway, so when we have debates, there are different type of things we need to consider. We need to consider specifics, edge cases, generalities, and that's where most debate talking points live in, right? So if you're like, the more, strict people who are dedicated will most likely want to pick a online coach who's a person. What percentage of people who go to the gym are realistic, strict, dedicated people? So you then have to do the ratio. Is it 90% of people that are like that? Or is it 10% of people are like that? And you also have to do the you want to go in, Chris? Because it's dangerous.
You finish your point, then
it's dangerous territories. Then you also want to go into how long, and this is something that a lot of coaches experience. How long would your your clients keep paying for? At what point would they stop paying and decide to cancel their membership? Most of them, when they're new, will do it for the first few months. Then it will just go away completely, And that's where I think something like AI would take over. But yeah, go ahead, Chris. And everyone, feel free to chip in different sides.
Yeah.
And thank you, Coach Tor, for joining. We need more coaches in here because I do think it's a really good debate. And I do think that with the way things are advancing, it's going to become more and more realistic. And this reminds me of the days of, was it like MySpace or Facebook? I forgot. It was one of those. This was when Vine came out. This was like when Vine came out. Most people were like, nah, 5 seconds clips. It's not going to take away from social media. It's not going to. And then now we have TikTok, which is literally just stolen Vine's methodology. So you would be amazed about how much humanity want things easy, like easy and free.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. For sure. I think that's right. But so my point you were saying before is who is dedicated in the gym? Like, I don't think people who are super dedicated are necessarily people who need coaches. I think if you are motivated, dedicated, I don't think you're the person who needs coaching most of the time. Yes, if you have a very specific goal. Yes, if you've got a really intensive goal, maybe it's like an athletic pursuit, maybe if it's for bodybuilding or like powerlifting, something like that, then yeah, absolutely. But I think the most people who would actually benefit from a coach, and probably a better online coach than in-person coach, no plug, is people who are new to the gym, people who don't know what they're doing. People don't want to have to go through AI and do the wrong thing, because I work with some AI, some stuff, and a lot of it's terrible. It will tell you what you want to hear. You can correct it. You say, don't do that. Well, do this. This is a great substitution. And it's not. I think, and also your point, people, how long will they do it for? A few months. I have no problem with that. A lot of clients I have are not there for 2-3 years. Sometimes people need to have confidence and build it over a few months, and then they go spread their wings after that. And hey, sometimes they come back and they think, oh, I wasn't ready to do it myself. I didn't have the motivation. I didn't have you harassing me every day. I didn't have the support system for that. Can I come back on? And I say, no. Jokes. I say, come back. Yeah, that's fine. But I think the idea of having to be super dedicated to need a coach isn't true at all. And I think AI is maybe once, like you said, maybe once you've had coaching for a while, maybe after that, you've got the establishment, you've got the habits built, you know what you're doing, you have confidence. Maybe then you can use AI after that. Maybe that's to put in. But I don't think you should ever start with AI. I think you should start with a person, a human, someone that actually cares about your results, because AI doesn't care about your results. AI is not going to actually spend the days and the time and the effort trying to fix your solution. They're going to try to make you happy and say yes, thanks, bye. Whereas as a coach, I can give someone I get an answer and I can say, is that all right? And they say yes, and I can hear from their voice, that's not all right. And sometimes you actually need to really grab out of them what's actually the issue is. And if you tell an AI coach, for example, oh, I can't do this exercise, bench press, they may say it's substitution. Maybe it's a substitution, but I'm going to ask, well, why can't you do that? And actually get to a reason behind it. Whereas there's nuance for that, and AI doesn't have that level of nuance. It doesn't have that ability to talk to people in the same way. And that also, a lot of coaches don't have that either. That's something you develop as a coach as well. Hey, your hands up, so I'll let you speak.
Chris, have you seen iRobot?
I have.
Do you know the checkmate that I'm going to pull?
Go on.
So there's a scene in iRobot where Will Smith, when he was still an amazing actor, was speaking to the robot and was like, can a robot play a symphony? Can it draw art? Can it do something creative? And then the robot responds to Will Smith and says, well, can you? Chris, tell me the percentage of online coaches that truly, genuinely care about their clients. Is it 90%? Is it... See, this is the dark truth of the fitness industry. A lot of them are models that want to make bank. That's why they're using these methodologies of, they will have this one set recording, which is, there was a coach that I used to work with that I stopped working for them because they just wanted to sell out from the community. They wanted to turn this community into a cash cow, which I would have made so much money from it. But I was like, this guy is freaking insane, right? They don't care. Like, this goes back to Tommy's point. They don't care about the individual, right? So there's no difference between that. They care about the profit margin. A lot of them are models. They've taken 1 or 2 years course for personal trainers. And I'm not saying that the people in the communities are like this. There's probably the 1% of these amazing coaches like Chris that exist. But you've got to understand, when you ever have debates like this, you always have to stay in the realm of generalities. You can't talk about the 1%, because the 1% doesn't account for the majority. A lot of these online coaches, they don't care about the individual. You're just a number that meets specific specification. That's why when Miss Yap Queen and Chris were talking about, they were talking about the forms that a lot of coaches told them to fill. All of that is to be able to categorize you into a pre-made program that they already have, or a pre-made video set that they already have, to give you a quick induction. So while they're sleeping or partying in freaking Dubai or whatever, you're busy paying whether 50 or 150 for something that they've already pre-made done, and then they probably have like 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever available sometime between the week, and then you can schedule that call with them to make it seem that it's more personable. They have streamlined the way that they do their routines, and it is not because they care about you, it's because they want what? ROI, return on investment. And who is the investment? You. Your money is the investment. So this is why I think that because the wall and the curtain has been pulled, thanks to AI and thanks to all these research resources, a lot of normal individuals are going to be able to see the dark truth behind the industry, and are probably going to be like, you know what, I should probably save my money and maybe try learning things myself. So that was a counter. But yeah, go ahead. Anyway, guys, it's not just me and Chris, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna hop in here.
Oh, okay. You can go first.
I
it's fine.
agree. It hurts me to say, but I agree with AO a little bit. However, Carl Jung, psychologist, always came through and he said, rather than being a psychologist first, be a human first. And I think the AI coaches will replace online coaches is a big possibility for sure. And that will just sift out the shit coaches, the ones you're referring to just now. They're rich, they're famous, they're on Instagram already. They're already exposed, they've already got a good system in place. You're not seeing the good quality coaches. Yeah, for sure, AI, pretty good for making cookie cutter programs. At the end of the day, if you scale it down, you've only got a squat, push, hinge, pull, brace, bilateral movement, if you want to go into that far of detail. They're pretty good for that. And sometimes people need that. But what you do need is a coach to walk you through those things and going a little bit deeper, like goal delineation, behavioral change, all that kind of stuff. AI, unless you've got good prompt management or whatever you call it, it's just gonna tell you what you want to hear. So, in the sense of will we get replaced by AI? I doubt it. But if people want programs, then they probably would get it from AI. However, if they're wanting good coaching, not programs, that's not going to happen with AI because they just don't have that human interaction.
I think that's a really good point.
That is me.
Right. I think that's a really good point. But I do have another counter to AO. So I just want to say, I think that even the worst of worst online coach is never going to be as no, wait, the other way around. I think even the best program that ChatGPT makes is not going to be the personal in the same way as the worst online coach. So I think that even if you have a really bad online coach that doesn't care, I think that person is still going to care more than an AI bot. And I think it's still going to give you more things to work with and handles to grow. And yeah, I think that that's a really big part. So in that sense, I don't think that AI is going to replace coaches, online coaches in this debate specifically.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, sure.
So recently on Instagram, I've been playing. The seven is that I like to play a lot of rivals. But for whatever reason, on my Instagram, I get a lot. I get a lot of. Hey! Let's go back on topic.
When last did you go to the gym, and when last were your Marvel rivals? That should probably be this week's debates, right? Go on, mate. Sorry to interrupt.
Fine, it's fun. Yeah. So I've been getting a lot of like people that stream. And but they're not streamers like actual they have like 4 likes on the reel. Those the people that just refuse to have a job, and stream to cover for it. Those kind of people. And I get them in I get them so much, and I have no idea why. The reason why I'm saying this, because it's gonna make sense in a bit. We already talked about how there's this level of accountability and this level of individuality and humanity that that makes coaching personal to you. And then the way Ayo just said it, a lot of people, You know, I asked one of the coaches that I did my introductory sessions with like a long time ago, like a year and a few months ago, and that just the introductory session we had was very good because the gym was going to pay him for the introductory session, whereas when I DM'd him to ask him for like some advice, he gave me he gave me like the worst program I've ever seen in my life, and it was like because he's not getting anything from it, or yeah, because he's not paying anything from it, it doesn't, you know, all those your gym's average, the average gym's app has horrible programs because they're not really getting anything from it. And like the way
very well.
just the way I just said, you know, they're gonna, a lot of coaches, yeah, especially the ones online, like particularly the ones on social media, they're just gonna regurgitate the same stuff for you and put you in numbers. And then and then we talk about that 1% that has the individuality and whatever. But what percentage of online coaches are that 1%? Less than that. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, there's 10% of coaches that are, you know, quote unquote good coaches that have the individuality and whatnot. But 90% of them are, you know, they're trash. You know, so if the argument was, you know, if is AI going to replace online coaches? Technically, I say AI is going to replace 90% of online coaches, and the 10% are good will remain. But at that point, if you're taking 90% away from the online
That's a
coaches,
majority.
how much? Yeah, there's nothing there really. So it's like it goes back to the original point. You know, at that point, the 10% are like this mythical dragon, and the career itself is dead. I mean, the job sector itself is dead, rather than
job sector isn't dead.
just.
So back to this point.
I wanted to add something. I don't know if I can, because I have to go soon, but I wanted to participate.
Give me. Go.
Why does AO seem so upset?
Upset? I'm just trying to remember my points because I'm about to cook everyone. But just go quickly before I forget.
Okay. Quickly. Okay. Might as well just tell me to shut up. But anyways, I'm really bad with this topic, but I wanted to add something along with what Jinty, I don't know how to say your name, bro, said. I think it also have like a specific example that actually happened with me. I have a knee injury, as literally everyone knows. And I feel like one thing that AI doesn't do is literally like, for example, my coach, he tells me like, I'm doing squats, you know, and I'm like, my knee hurts like in this area, and he's like, okay, then do this, do that. But then one time I actually asked, like, for example, ChatGPT, I don't actually remember what it was, and I was like, oh, give me like a program, but don't forget I have this knee injury, it hurts here. And then what does ChatGPT tell me? Do squats. And I'm just like, huh, what do you mean? Like, my coach literally told me don't do it because it hurts there. So despite you telling ChatGPT exactly where it hurts or where your injury is, it'll always like add any exercise that will literally go against what actual humans tell you, because the human is there, he can feel, he can like touch and be like, yeah, he can, you know, he can sense your, I don't really know how to explain, but this actually happened. So I feel like it would also really, like, if AI does take over coaches, I feel like it would really be bad to people with injuries, because I feel like the misinformation would be really bad to the point that they could actually injure themselves further, you know? So yeah, that was my point.
Yeah, that's a good and valid point. But quick question before you leave, Mimi. Was your coach in person or online?
In person.
Okay, cool. Anyway, I'm not going to address that
I guess
point.
this is online.
Yeah, so back to the main point. So I'll start off with Tor. Tor, you really had some really good points, and I do appreciate it. And I know that your point, and you're coming from the stance of a lot of you're basically saying this golden mythical creature that is like Chris, right? Do you want to know how hard it is for me to find someone like Chris? Even the owner of the server that Chris was on before, I think there was some sort of drama in that server that you were on, the previous server we're not going to name, because all of the online coaches or whoever they were, most of those guys, they don't care about the nuances behind it. They don't care about the individuality. They don't care about the person, right? So this also goes back to the point that Tommy raised. Tommy raised a really good point. So this is something that happened to MySpace and it's slowly happening to Facebook, which is why every time you sign up for Instagram, they're trying to prompt something Facebook related because the user base is dying, right? And this is something that happens in the job sector. There are a lot of jobs that have just gone dormant or don't exist anymore because of the demand from people, basically. If 90% of people aren't paying attention to a job market, that industry will slowly start to collapse due to low investment, anything that's keeping it sustainable, and also individual interest. So what's going to happen with the next generation of people when they're like, oh wow, okay, this industry that was very profitable, I don't know, 50 years ago or whatever, I'm going to school, I'm about to study. Do I pick this new shining industry that I can make a lot of money from, or be an online coach and barely make money because AI is taking it away? So then what happens is as time goes on and humans, age out, maybe our generation, maybe next generation, whatever it is, then that industry dies out with it because the new generation are not trying to go into that job market because they know it's not profitable. So that's the business side of it. I'm sorry to sound like a finance tech bro or whatever. So now you guys are talking about the mythical creature like Chris. You've got to understand that Chris is the God knows, not 1% of all coaches. I don't want to glaze the guy. He already gets it enough, right? And a huge shout out to Jovida. Jovida is your co-pilot AI. I'm not a sellout. But yeah, that's the sponsor of this week's podcast. But what you've got to understand is that because of how the things work in the business world, a lot of coaches or a lot of people who do feel like they have that personality, that they do want to help people, they've got mouths to feed and people to help, right? What they would end up doing eventually is pivoting. Chris might do more in person. He might have to travel to meet people. He might have to increase the cost because now he's traveling. He might have to start getting a job at a gym. Might have to start doing flexible work where he's not just a coach, he's also a gym receptionist or whatever. He might have to get higher qualification. Not I'm saying Chris specifically, but those type of those mythical creatures. And then what normally would happen is that as that job market dies out, they will be the ones that suffer the most because they'll be fighting against other mythical creatures. The standards is going to get incredibly hard. And there's always going to be some sort of person who meets all the criteria that ends up cashing out and being the cash cow. But yeah, go ahead. Anyone that has any counters to that, and I do hope I address.
Yeah, it's like it's not really a counter, but like it's just to give an explanation. Like there's this old game DC Universe Online.
Yeah.
What when you ask someone, if I asked you, is this game dead? What does that mean? Does it mean that no one's playing it anymore? Because even if a game dies, people are still playing it. But majority of the player base left to the point where there was no one, like a lot of people don't want to play the game again. So the only people that are playing the game are the people that really want to play the game, that have stayed with the game for a long time, and the majority is left. So it's very similar to that in terms of the mythical creatures are still going to be, they're still going to be, there, they're still going to be interesting, but the integrity doesn't pay anymore. And at that point, the game is dead. So that's and
then you have like a Marvel Rivals come out.
I agree.
Yeah, and then those player base, or you'll have like a game like Marvel Rivals that comes out, and those players will be like, okay, am I going to keep wasting time on this? When there's this game, there's a lot of sponsorship. I'm already a good third-person shooter player. Maybe I can get into some competitive gameplay and make some money.
Why play Overwatch? Why play Overwatch? We can play Rivals.
Yeah, something like that. It's just the way it is. I work in healthcare now, and I don't want to get too much into it. But the place I was working in before was very elitist, and then I went to somewhere that was hardly elitist. Like there were hardly there was a lot of unprofessionalism because obviously there was less funding. But yeah, the point is it was, as far as an organization goes, it was a worse organization. But the thing is, I still had that elitist mentality, so I still wanted to do things that that's, if anyone in healthcare will tell you that they're not able to sit down and have a chat with patients, even though that's one thing that I really enjoy. But me sitting and having a chat with the patient means that I'm either taken away from my rest time, or I'm either taken away from doing a task that that is essential for me to be doing, even though ideally, on a moral or like on a spiritual sense, I want to enjoy my job by talking to that person, but I don't really have the time to do that. So are you trying to tell me that in a few years or eventually, if my boss comes up and say, look, your performance is going down, am I still gonna keep talking to that person even though I like it, or am I actually gonna think about keeping my job?
Yep, you got
And
mouths to feed, you got bills to pay.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and it's a sad reality of it, and we can already see this happening with. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. Actually, Chris, go ahead. I've spoken way too much.
No worries. So just a thought, a parallel thought to it. Like AI taking over people's jobs and things like that. And Tommy said about, well, that if there aren't any good, if they get rid of the bad coaches, we'll just be more elitist. Will the only thing left for that? I say, well, people think AI is going to fix all sorts of things. People are saying like, oh, lawyers are going to go out of business because AI is going to fix everything. And we've seen people go to court with ChatGPT making up cases, trying to people absolutely fools themselves. I don't think AI is going to just absolutely reduce that. And also, another point, but it's escaping me at the moment. One moment.
It's all right. Does anybody else have anything?
No, it's fine. I'll come back to it.
Feel free to speak. Tor, Masochist, Jinte, Candy.
Tommy raises some good points. Can't lie. Yeah, like when I first started out coaching years ago, I was in it for the money. I can't lie. I was doing it alongside with my undergrad as well at the same time, and I did have a massive influx of people receiving the same problems, same issues, and I did automate it. Although ChatGPT wasn't a thing back then, it was more of a 6-week program I pre-made and just handed out to the same people. Off you go for 6 weeks. If you can't bother doing that, then don't come back to me. Some people did, some people didn't, and I'd think because humans are humans at the end of the day, and they probably would do the same thing with ChatGPT or any other AI. Ask it, get a nice brief burst of motivation, type in their goals, get a nice wee program, maybe a little meal plan, and then forget about it for the next 3 months. I think about 60%. I'm not looking it up. It's on Barbell Medicine if you want to look it up. Of people who start a New Year resolution, going to the gym, for example, don't follow through with it. So they do need that accountability. Some people might get that from AI, but they might need that human interest. And we talk about these mythical creatures. And yeah, I have to agree with that. I think if you're exposed to TikTok or Instagram, you're going to be exposed to more of the high ticket sellers, the ones that are more flashy, sending out the same programs all the time. And that's fine. If that gets an individual in the gym and moving, that's a win in my eyes anyway. For people like Chris, if we're always using him as an example, they care and they want to help people, and they build a more one-on-one connection. They might have a smaller following base. They might work elsewhere. I work with teams. I work with sport clubs. Even if AI does take over, I probably will still have a job because teams need people. We have a lot of AI we use. We use Power BI, a little bit of AI in Canova as well. That's biomechanical analysis. I am never going to do that in person, but it's a good tool for coaches as well. So it could replace in the sense that it might make our work a little bit less hard or a little bit less taxing, but it could never fully replace because we still need to use it at the same time. I think this is a ongoing process or issue with a lot of industries, like Chris said there about lawyers. I mind when COVID was a thing about 5 years ago, the whole generation of those dentists that went into uni didn't have placements. So now we've got a generation of dentists that don't have that placement or work experience, that can't get jobs, and the ones that are in the jobs have never done any physical contact with patients. So would you be willing to a dentist who's not really had experience before? That is kind of the analogy I'm using just now. You wouldn't really go to an AI coach who doesn't have experience. They're spouting the same information. And I think Menno Hinnelsman, I think I put in the chat earlier, coaches or a lot of PTs really don't have that knowledge or information, and ChatGPT kind of outperforms them, and it's true. And that just shows the state of not just the education system and the coaching business, but overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I think if you mentioned about, when you started giving people a 6-week program saying if you can't do that, don't bother coming back. I guess that kind of applies to coaches now. If you can get the same results from AI, from ChatGPT in 5 minutes, maybe you shouldn't be the person being a coach. Maybe you should start retraining. Maybe you should take a bit more seriously.
Yeah, those are valid points. Does anybody have anything that they want to add? Don't be shy.
I've never seen AO talk like this before.
It's
Every
my
time I
sector,
hear
man.
him talk, he's always
He's
trolling. I've never seen him
It's
be
AI.
this serious before.
It's my
switched on.
specialties.
He's switched on.
I work in integrations and automation, so it's my sector. Like, dude, guys, it's
Okay.
getting very dangerous. Like call centers, right? So, for example, and I feel sorry for all our pals in India. A lot of first line support, especially for tech and call centers, were always outsourced to India because they had this. We can get cheaper labor, but they still get good pay. And it does well on their resume, especially if they're like juniors coming out of university or whatever, to work for an international company. So imagine you're working for, I don't know, you're working for Microsoft or whatever, and you're in India. You've got it on your resume. It helps. You can scale up, use it to apply for a visa, eventually get into that. All of that is going at a low level because what's happened is all of that is being automated. I don't know if anyone has called any tech support recently. A lot of the automated machine, turns out you're talking to AI. You open up a online support chat. It turns out you're talking to AI. It's getting scary out there, guys. Like, it's not just like one industry. Even that's why there's the huge protest with Hollywood actors and writers and all these other stuff that they had the writer's strike. Is because nowadays they're doing CGI and all these other stuff with AI. They're doing designs and all these other stuff with AI. They're writing scripts and music. I'm not too sure if you guys saw that Motown 50 Cent music that was trending. That was all created with AI. So it is getting very dangerous for a lot of industry. And the reason why it's getting dangerous is, like I said, watch WALL-E. If you want to know where human evolution is heading towards, like the 1% of people, like if you look at like, and I know we've already had, shout out to the obesity being a choice debate. A majority of people are overweight. They spend more time on their phone than being active. They are inclusive. They are introverted. They are not out there. They're not active. Anything that makes their life a lot easier. We're talking about Google has existed, right, for a long period of time, and people aren't even using that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, human beings have gotten to the point where even the easy things to do is difficult. Kids nowadays, like, they're addicted to their tablets, they're addicted to, but yeah, although I don't think it's going to happen in the immediate future, I do think that there's going to be a lot of pushback. I do think there's some sort of like war going on, and I think you mentioned it, both Chris and Tommy, and also Tor as well, about like the individuality aspect. I do think that this era and this generation of people, we care about the humanity side of things, but we don't know what the next generation is going to concern about. Like that, times change, and I know that a lot of people are still going to be like, no, people will still want to use it. People will care about it. If I was to tell you, we've all got an exam. We should all go to the library to study. How many of you would realistically go to the library with me? Because libraries still exist. That's another thing that got destroyed because of internet.
No, they do. They do.
But yeah.
And COVID.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I would say this though. I think is there ever a reality, or like is there ever a time where because normally the majority controls the narrative, and then if you control the narrative, you basically control everything. Is there ever going to be a point, or is there a possibility where the minority, let's say in this example, the minority of online fitness coaches, people that still believe in them, people that still believe in that 10%, people that still believe in that 20%, come out and propagate this idea of staying within that 20%. Would there ever reach a point where, let's say, let's use Reddit for example. Let's use Reddit for example. Is there ever going to be a point where people start going, actually, it's better for us if we if we try to make this 20% become a 40%, is there, if we try to make this 40% become a 60% by let's say not partnering with AI apps, or let's say blocking coaches
doing
who
that.
Good luck with
yeah
that, mate.
yeah
But I know what you're saying. It's a good point.
yeah
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
I
like a
just
point of
don't trust
resistance.
that's just what it is, really.
Yes, that's wise. You shouldn't trust people. You shouldn't trust people. But I won't say the Pete Show quote, but it's appropriate. Someone could put it in chat if they want. Yeah, I think that will require a lot of unity. I think like the Screen Actors Guild have had a big protest there, the big strike about it, didn't they? But on the online coach business, unfortunately, online fitness is quite sketchy. Unfortunately, a lot of people think they can just get away with it. There's no actual unity for that. And just to also say, because we talk about these superstar coaches and stuff, people with loads of money and stuff, a lot of super rich coaches and influencers aren't actually that rich. I saw them recently, like you can have a whole, you can become an influencer, have a whole Dubai experience on like £100, £200, so that you can just fly there, you can do this really cheap things and just reuse all this stuff anyway. Like these people are not, I don't know, I think it's a bit weird to go to someone who's not a coach for coaching anyway, because if you think about like pro athletes, professional athletes, they're not being coached by their athletes, they're being coached by actual coaches.
Yeah.
Like it's not the way it works. Like just because someone's achieved something doesn't mean they can necessarily lead you to get to the same result. Like you don't see the people who win Super Bowl, they're not actually generally people playing in the matches. They're people who do the coordinates, they've worked out all the strategies, they know how to get people to the results. Coaches are actually a discrete skill in itself. It's not, being Jack maybe people may think you're better, but if you guys, it's not all about how you look, it's actually what you can actually do for other people, which people lack in this flashy world.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I do have a solution. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Sorry, carry on, Chris. I was just adding on that. So.
No, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was saying that like is the set, like when I first joined the gym, the person I decided to have my session with was the factually the biggest guy in the gym, but at the end of the
story,
day, but one year in, I've changed like 50% of, if not 70% of what it is I learned from him. So yeah, so it's like the smartest guy in the class doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best teacher, because is that's just not how it works. It's not really 1:1, knowledge into application.
Exactly, which is my point. That you shouldn't. Okay, so this is unrelated, but I'm going to anyway because this opportunity. People who follow like genetic freaks and outliers and stuff, as if they've don't follow what the freaks do. Don't follow what these genetic beasts can do, because unless you like them, which you're not, because you wouldn't be here in the podcast. You'd probably getting paid to play American football or something. You'd probably be competing and making money. Unless you have their unique gifts, their talents and stuff that you can't manufacture. What they do is irrelevant to what you do. They could do nothing. They could get out of bed and gain 3 pounds of muscle. Like for the normal people like us, the average people, that you need to have your own different way, and you can't just follow what these freaks are doing. Like even same for like being super genius. The people are that smart, they don't have to study for tests, they don't have to do anything. You probably, if you're not like that naturally, you probably shouldn't be doing that. It's a different game. You need to follow the actual steps from someone who's been in your position to actually build and get better, rather than go to this paragon for it who's not relatable, can't teach you all to do it, and you go, oh, they could say, just work out. And that's useful for someone who doesn't have that built into them. Sorry, vent over. Back to a productive conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think people should be following routines from anyone that's just like the strongest or the best person at the gym, because they're always, most of the time, the most clueless. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably the most clueless on this podcast. I'm certain Gente has more fitness knowledge than me, because I don't research much. And if I do, I use I'm not gonna do an AI plug. Remember, it's not strike first, it's not strike force, it is strength first. I use STR first, support Chris on all platforms. But yeah, I think this is a good debate. It's something I do have a solution to a lot of coaches. You just have to stop doing the average. You need to go into so if you're a bodybuilding coach, you need to start coaching people who are trying to get into IFBB Pro. So, or if you're just doing regular coaching, you need to go into people who are getting into a sport. Maybe it's powerlifting, maybe it's a new sporting trend. You need to pivot into those sports, learn about it, get the certification you need, especially if it's something that's new like IROX or whatever. because what's happened in the fitness industry is, and this is something I've noticed, especially in bodybuilding, and also even powerlifting, even IROX. IROX is the best example. It's become a luxury where a lot of rich people just pump money in. So if you go to any IROX show and you look at the people who are competing and the people who are winning, you find out that like they're the CEOs or head management of different businesses and all these other stuff. So they can pump money on all the things they do just to post on LinkedIn to make it look good, some superficial award, just like when they go golfing or whatever. So if you're a coach and you do want to maintain that integrity and you want to maintain that individuality, and you also want to feed yourself and your family, just so for example, bodybuilding, train people for IFBB Pro certification or whatever. They're going, whether it's posing, whether it's nutrition, whether it's workout routines to follow, whether it's avoiding injury. A lot of bodybuilders nowadays are trying to train for longevity so they can compete more, because a lot of them have realized that, some coaches or some judges might just have a bad day and not really like you and just say that you're completely crap. And then another time you go, they really like you, maybe it's because of aesthetics or whatever, and then you win. So there are all these opportunities that are out there. It's going to be more and more niche. Same thing, and I've also said this to a lot of people who are getting into computer science. Don't get into computer science to do web design. No one's going to hire you, mate. You want to get into computer science, go into DevOps. So you have to find this hyper niche industry that a lot of people wouldn't want to risk using AI because of the impact of that industry. So DevOps, cybersecurity, AI integration, quantum computing, that would be the same thing to equivalent with personal trainer. I switch from there's the thing is that there's a lot of industries in computer science that are beneficial, especially if you start getting into quantum computing, if you get into building AI agents, get into cybersecurity. I think cybersecurity is going to be one of those ones that a lot of industry would never want to have the risk of saying, it's the same thing when Cloudflare was down. Like if they want to have the risk of saying, oh, sorry, Cloudflare died because we were using ChatGPT. They're just going to look like idiots, right? But they will probably want to use it as, I don't know, something that designs the new interface, but not to actually build it or whatever it is. Anyway, that's just my stance. I do think that in everything, when it comes to evolution, you just have to evolve to survive. And it is getting scary out there. A lot of industries are going to get cooked. And if you're a personal trainer, start getting into sports. I think sports training is something that's always going to be there and beneficial, because a lot of those coaches, especially in the NBA, and it doesn't even need to be as big as the NBA. It can even be like local sporting clubs and stuff like that. They do pay, they do pay very well. I think that's been a solid debate. Does anybody have anything you want to say?
Covered a lot, man. Covered a lot.
Yeah, I don't have
Candy,
anything. I don't have anything to dispute. But like on the thing you just said, wouldn't it be harder? Because I mean, if let's say someone is okay, let's say someone finishes computer science, but then obviously they can't go into web design because that's a dying sector. But now that they want to go into cybersecurity, there's like 100 other people, like a million.
Yeah,
other
the competition is
people
going to be harder. Yeah.
And then so now the competition is going to be a lot higher, and then you then have the situation where you enter this paradox where you have to be, again, that 10% that's different from life. Yeah, that's
the thing. Man. That's the thing with evolution. The same thing also happened with there was the .com crash. There was also the was it like the financial crash of the early 2000s? I forgot what the name of that one was.
Which one? We've been through too many, man. We've been through about 3, I have at least in my life. 3 once in a lifetime crisis.
Yeah, a lot of them happen is because I don't know the full context, but in summary, what happens is there are all these like hedge fund companies that are investing based on loan on all these companies because they think it's going to be successful. If suddenly something doesn't end up profitable, they want to pull all their money, and some of them go into panic. I think that's what happened. There was one big one, but basically a lot of, even with the crypto one that recently happened with the what's that guy's name? Do you remember his name? the crypto.com scandal with basically they had
Yeah.
a bunch of people investing into their crypto.com or whatever it was, but they were using the people's money, similar to what banks do, to invest into other entities, and all of those investments fell through. One of the owners got into a panic, pulled his money. People saw on the blockchain that he had pulled his money. They went into a panic, they pulled all their money, and then everyone was trying to pull their money,
Run on
but there was
banks,
no
isn't
money
it?
to pull, and then it just caused a crash. So that's how all these financial crashes happen.
Wow.
A lot of people, I don't think a lot of hedge funds are investing into online coaches, which is good because a lot of online coaches, you guys are your own bosses. Maybe I invest into Chris
I'm not
or
owned by a
something
hedge
like
fund,
that
good
one
God.
day. Hey, Chris, when I'm a millionaire, right?
You know,
But the thing is,
I'll to do it.
Yeah, I do think with everything evolution based, like I think everyone should just be on their tippy toes. That's it. Like AI is there's a war going on AI. There are people in commerce that want to
Art.
push it forward. Then there are people like you guys said, they're humans that have a heart, whether it's designers, whether it's writers, whether it's musicians, whether it's personal trainers that are trying to push back. Trust me, Jinta, you have more fitness knowledge than me. Like I was trying to explain to someone how to do muscle up in another Discord server. I got flamed out because I didn't have the freaking correct terminologies or whatever the freaking Poindexters use, right? But the main thing is, if you work on yourself and be the best version of yourself, that 10%, once you're in the 10%, you're going to enjoy being in the 10%. And this goes out to all coaches, whether you're Chris, whether you're Tor, whoever you are, work well, work hard, study, because what would eventually happen is you're going to end up finding, obviously, I'm a nobody, but you're going to find someone like me, maybe it's like some Dubai prince or whatever, who's like, oh, this guy Chris, he's actually really amazing. Let me hire him as my in-house personal trainer. And then you train his family, you train his mother. You end up, you end up being part of the family, and they don't want to stop working with you. So, but yeah, overall,
Make opportunities.
Yeah, we'll see. I do hope, although this has been a debate, I do hope AI doesn't take everyone's jobs. But yeah, I do think this was a solid debate.
I don't think that's possible anyway.
Pardon?
I was going to say I don't like there is a point where like AI can't interfere at some point. Like for example, healthcare. Once you get to that bridge, it's just like there's only so much that even as powerful as it is, there's only so much AI can do. Like
there's only so much.
AI is not going to administer, take bloods, are they? AI is not going to take bloods, are they? They're not going to.
Yeah. I mean, even like online consulting, like I saw this stuff in the news. Like some people are doing like online consulting now. At some point, when when you start like getting people that are like people are living longer, for example. So because the average age of people who can access the internet now becomes like 60, 70. It's not like it's not like the health issues you get with 60, 70 are going to change. So at that point, it's like I can 10 years ago people used to die at 80. Now people can access the internet at 80, but at the end of the day they're still prone to get diseases that are specific to 80-year-old people. So it's not like you can go, oh well, now that humanity has advanced, I can use AI. AI can't really fix it, because at the end of the day it's still the same diseases you were getting 10 years ago because you're still 80 years old. But yeah, and that's a whole different it's not related to this. I was just saying.
No, it's a good point. I have seen there was even that, I don't know if it was America, where they said that they wanted to was it the Elon Musk AI access to the
Oh God,
they
Pentagon.
want to give it, I forgot.
Grok in the Pentagon.
Yeah. Is that what? Yeah, I saw that in the news. I was like, yo, you guys are cooked.
Grok is terrible.
Yeah,
Grok is terrible.
Yeah, that's the one. Grok.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be basically how Terminator started. Basically, like the story was like, was it cybernetics or cyber whatever it was called, was created to try and solve humans' problems, and then it realized humans were the problem, and then it started killing
Yeah.
everyone. So,
Mm.
hey,
Always been the
for
problem.
someone who's such a sci-fi nerd like Elon Musk to even try it, there's something wrong with that guy. Like, there's all the clues.
There's many
There's
things
freaking
wrong with him.
iRobots. There's oh gosh. But yeah, I think this has been a
Yeah.
good debate. Does anybody
I
have
agree.
Yeah, I
any
enjoyed it.
points? Come on, guys, don't be shy. Speak.
I think I'm gonna head off now. Actually,
To play
Okay, Tommy.
Marvel Rivals,
Appreciate it, man.
right?
no. It's already 10 p.m. man. You know, I have the African Christian mother. It's just Saturday night. I need to get ready for something.
I saw your Marvel Rivals at 3 a.m., mate. So don't make that excuse.
I thought you said something else then. I thought you said something else then.
This is my first time ever hearing Ayo talk like this. I didn't even know like he worked in like tech. I used to think like he was not a broccoli head. What's it called? A muscle head. That's it. I used to think like he just went to the gym and
He's been
worked somewhere
saving
else.
up. He's been saving up energy for the last 100 podcasts, and now he's activated. He's online.
No. To be fair, I was here like 2 weeks ago, and like
He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy.
yeah,
Oh no,
I think
no,
it was
no!
the obesity.
I'm a brilliant idiot. People always used to call me. Oh, my teachers called me that like that in school. When I was in gifted and talented, I'm a brilliant idiot. I can't articulate a point to save my life, but I can get good grade. Yeah, that's the terminology. A brilliant idiot. Someone who basically you see them,
Your
it's a
word.
day-to-day activity. They smash their head on the wall. They drop things. They don't know how to do basic arithmetic. They can't speak properly, and then you see their grades at school, and they do really well. That's what it is. But overall, I do think I don't know if I'm going to give any advice to any coaches who's listening to this or who's on the podcast or whatever. The main thing is to have that peer-to-peer reference. One thing I have seen, and we are going to glaze Chris a little bit more, is whenever people do interact with Chris, I'm not going to now that you did that hand gesture. The feedback is always the same and it's always positive. No longer is that the day where you can be some sort of like finance bro who's LARPing as a fitness coach or personal trainer or whatever. Since most of them have all pivoted to crypto or AI grift or whatever their next grift is going to be. So I do think it will work out for everyone eventually. And I would say if you're someone as intelligent as Chris, obviously I didn't think it's going to come for Chris's job in this era. But if you're someone as intelligent as Chris, just go into medicine. Medical science is something that's never going to go away. So if you are already intelligent and you do care about people, just try and be a doctor, try and be a nurse, try and be a consultant, try and just go into the healthcare field properly all the way through. And if you fail the first time, don't give up hope. Try again, because most people would much rather go to a doctor that they trust with their health than AI. I think that's one industry that's always going to be protected. No one wants freaking robots, even if they get it to the most perfect way. They don't want a robot touching their body, knowing about their health history or all these other stuff. They want someone that they trust, that they can get that disclosure with, that can help them out. So, yeah.
Probably
Go ahead.
psychology too, in that.
Yes,
Like,
that's also a good one as well, yeah.
psychology is also a very big part of that. And also, I want to say, I really didn't know like a lot about this topic, so I couldn't add a ton. But yeah, maybe can we do like a more scientific topic next week so we can actually study it, because this is
You want to study for
something
the
that
debate? That is pure tryhard. But sure, what debate topic do you want us to do next week?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe something with nutrition will be fun.
Okay.
Like we've done like a lot of like what is harder things, but not a lot with like nutrition that actually has some like depth into it. Maybe that will be fun.
That's good. If you have any ideas that come to mind,
It is together.
yeah. Or Chris, if you have anything that comes to mind, let me know. And if you also want to test if that topic sticks. So the reason why most of these topics are the ones that I pick. So what I do is I use the subreddit as kind of pretty much an analytical tool, just to spam different topics and see the ones that take off. So if I was to just quickly share, where the hell? Oh my gosh, these guys, they're just spamming me about this freaking Minecraft game night So imagine the amount of nerds in this server that cared this much about Minecraft. So what I do is, and also bear in mind for some of the thumbnails, a lot of them are clickbaits just to get that click and
We
retention.
know he's the master debater.
Learns from the best, Chris. You. So I just posted on our subreddit, and you can see, for example, that's why we did most of the ones that we did recently, because they did have a lot of back and forth. The recording in the gym one took off a lot, and obesity is a choice. That one is something I've been baiting for years. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Guys
Old
roasting.
reliable.
But you've always got to devote to the standard, the factory resets, right? It's the same thing. There's the same reason why I do the same joke every April Fools, because I know the outcome. Sorry, I don't want to treat people like numbers. I'm slowly turning to AI myself, but you just know the outcome of different things. Like, if I say this specific thing, it's gonna have this response. But yeah, if you guys do have anything you want to, just post it on the subreddit, and you can see whether it takes off. Go ahead. But overall, does anybody have any fitness questions? Anything they want to add? It is 10:30 p.m. for us. I don't want to hold anyone hostage, and there is like a game night starting. Astro and Chris, Chris, or Thomas. This guy keeps changing his name. I can't keep track.
Yeah,
those two.
Not having that. So changing names.
Yeah, those two are setting up. Can you make this Minecraft server cracked? This is the fitness podcast, mate. You take that nonsense off topic, little bro. We are intellectuals here, aren't we, Chris? We are well studied.
Yeah,
I have a question. I ask a question, okay?
Books.
It reminds me of Step Brothers. It's like, we are learned people. Have you seen Step Brothers, Chris?
Literally, yeah, man.
And it's fitness mod or not? I don't know much about Minecraft, mate. You're gonna have to speak to server manager Thomas.
Astro, sort out.
Astro. Yeah, Astro can't.
I actually do have a fitness question today.
I can't help you with that, mate.
So
go ahead, Chris.
Bro, so I'm powerlifting like more often now, and I kind of want to see how many times of like my workouts I should be doing warm-up maxes, because right now I'm just kind of feeling what's right, and when I think, oh, today's a strong day, I just pull a warm-up max. But I think there maybe should be a little bit more structure to that. So do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, for sure. So the thing is, hitting a warm-up max is more about testing strength than actually building strength. And the more time you spend testing, the less time you actually get to build it. So generally, you want to be testing a warm-up max less frequently. So if you're starting, maybe do it maybe once a month. But I wouldn't be doing it every other session, just when you feel good. Generally, if you have, I'll probably give 4 weeks or so, and then maybe try again. In the meantime, work on getting stronger on the exercise, working on your form. Yeah, I wouldn't be testing it every session or so. I give it a few weeks in between. That way you can actually build up. You can do the training, recover from the training, and then realize that in the lifting, rather than just seeing what you can do each time. It's really what you're doing. And it's tempting to do it, and people do it all the time. But I would say give yourself 3 weeks of hard training, not hitting warm-up maxes, but maybe keep one in reserve, building up some volume, getting your form really tight. And then on the 4th week, test the max, and then see how it goes, and then go again from there.
Okay, thank you. I just kind of struggle to know when I should add weight, because I'm sometimes kind of insecure as to I'm a very big perfectionist. So if I don't hit something I try, it feels like I failed altogether. So
absolutely. So yeah, in that case, you can just to be clear for powerlifting and building strength in general. You shouldn't really be hitting failure. Don't worry about trying to hit failure. Keep a rep in the tank. You can build all the strength in the world by not hitting failure for that. So if you're in doubt, keep the rep and make sure your form is tight and perfect next time. So if you're in doubt, don't hit the rep. You can still build strength, like even if your reps are in reserve.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Let me know how it goes. Sure, yes, there's some big words.
Perfect. I just realized Candy didn't speak. This is more of a reason why I should have banned him a long time ago, but we're not gonna let him know about that, right? Cool. Chris, do you have anything you want to say? Masaki, Tor, anybody?
I think I'm good.
It has been
I
1
enjoyed the
hour,
debate. It was good fun.
30
Hey,
minutes.
it's been good.
And I have a feeling I might have to apologize to
food.
Mimi sometime this week. So, Mimi,
Typical.
you're seeing this.
It's a normal week.
I didn't mean to make you get upset. I was just trying to remember my freaking talking points. I couldn't. But anyway, it was a good debate. No worries.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go.
Yeah.
Good to
Thank
roll.
you very much, everyone, for joining. I hope you have a really good week. If you are a Minecraft nerd, check out Off Topic or DM Astro. Get early access to the Minecraft server, even though it's literally at the top of the server. Anyone can get that IP. But for some reason, most people are still asking. That goes back to the point of how lazy human beings are. Wally is the future. We've seen it happen. Like, there is no way people are asking me for access to the freaking game server, and it's at the top of the server. It blows my mind. Sometimes I'm like, bro.
Or they're not lazy. They're just dumb. Like.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Gotta be real hot there.
Hey.
Like,
Hey.
sometimes people aren't
Your
just
words.
lazy. They're just
Yeah, your
dumb.
words,
Your
Jinsei. Your words. It's not like this is streamed or anything. It's not like there's a VOD of this. Hey, it's not like just kidding. Overall, thank you very much, everyone. Really do appreciate you. I hope you have a really good weekend. I probably will join the Minecraft server after I clear my head. So if I don't see you, I might see you there. But have a great weekend. Bye. Look out for the VOD.
Easy, guys.
Discord
See you next week.
podcast. Let's all get on the Discord podcast to debate AI. Make sure to check out Boost Camp. See ya. Bye-bye. Get out of here. Losers. Why are people even still here?